Welcome, everyone. I'm Joel Salatin, co-author with my partner in crime, Dr. Sina. Welcome to the Beyond Labels podcast. We're delighted to be with you today. And today, this is going to be a fairly short podcast, but we wanted to zero in on humor, on laughter. The Bible says laughter is the best medicine, or laughter does good like a medicine. And in these dark days of isolation and judgment and what are they thinking about me and what am I thinking about them? Sometimes it's really good to just sit back and laugh. And as I've looked at responses to this whole COVID thing, and one of my pieces of I've kind of come up with like an 8-part recipe for immunological function, and one of them is to laugh. And get on some really funny stuff and laugh. So, Sina, what have you found about laughter?
So I looked in the literature because we've all heard that phrase, laughter is medicine, right? So I wanted to see, has science caught up with that yet? Is there evidence in the peer-reviewed scientific literature that laughter actually is medicine? And you know what? There's an overwhelming amount of evidence. So I'm going to just rattle off a couple health benefits we know about laughter. Laughter actually decreases pro-inflammatory cytokines, meaning that it can lower the level of inflammation in your body. And as you know, that is critical to not only preventing disease, but reversing disease. Laughter also kills cancer cells. It does that by increasing natural killer cell activity. Those are immune cells that are responsible for killing stressed out or sick cells like cancer cells. And what's really cool too is that the harder you laugh, the more you boost this innate cancer killing ability. Like they actually studied that. They have a humor response scale, and they actually studied the intensity of your laughter with the change in the natural killer cell activity. And if you laugh really hard, it can actually elicit those healing effects for up to 12 hours, which I find that to be totally remarkable. So one thing that we do in our family, Joel, is, we get up and a lot of people take their multivitamin in the morning. My kids and I, my husband, we laugh. We're cooking breakfast, we're sitting around the breakfast table, and we tell jokes to each other because it has this great healing benefit. So do you want me to, I can go into some more studies if you want on lowering blood glucose and type 2 diabetes.
No, I'd like to just drill down just a little bit on this cancer thing. Has there ever been, to your knowledge, a study done, for example, where they actually did side-by-side studies of somebody of two kind of similarly aged, same sex, same kind of cancer, where one took the regular treatment versus one over here that just watched whatever, I Love Lucy, Laurel and Hardy, The Three Stooges, I'm dating myself going, a Mayberry RFD, hey, listen, I know, here's the deal. You know how when you're becoming an old geezer is when every program that you enjoy on TV is sponsored by the scooter store and Viagra.
I'm happy to say
that's how you know.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Joel.
Yeah. So somebody else's humor might be different than mine, and there's certainly plenty of funny things today, Shrek and whatever. But you see what I'm asking? Has there ever been a study done where somebody did the orthodox treatment versus somebody who literally read joke books and laughed, I don't know what, 8 hours a day or something as a treatment? Has that ever been tried?
So what you'll find repeatedly in the literature is not, we're going to do conventional treatment with this cancer patient and withhold conventional treatment here and just implement laughter. because in Western medicine, they would likely deem that to be inhumane, right? Because you're right,
Right.
because you're
Yeah.
not allowing, you're withholding the Western medicine answer. So,
Right.
but what does exist in the scientific literature is all kinds of disease conditions, including like cancer, diabetes, dementia, blood pressure, all these different conditions where they do these side by side. So they age match them. They match them, they pair them based
Right.
on, level of the symptoms they're having and whatnot. And they're
Yeah.
all getting,
Yeah.
say, for instance, a conventional treatment, but then one group, they will add laughter as a component, right? So they're specifically studying that laughter component. And I tell you, study after study is showing that laughter should be part of a wellness program. And in fact, what you're seeing in these scientists that are concluding in these papers is that, yes, people need to start including laughter as part of the wellness program. It specifically, since you asked about cancer, laughter has been shown in those side-by-side studies to increase the health and the well-being of the cancer patients. So not only, help in fighting off the cancer, but reducing their pain, reducing anxiety about having cancer, and lowering the stress hormones involved with that anxiety in cancer patients. When they asked the patients how they felt, the patients that had the laughter as part of their protocol, overall, they had a better general wellness and increased feeling of well-being. And this is not, like I said, this is not isolated just to cancer. So there's a study I'm looking at right here in diabetes research and clinical practice. So these are high impact journals, these aren't just some alternative journal that a Western medicine doctor would not publish in. So in here, they're showing that laughter lower the blood glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes. And it improved, diabetics tend to have cardiovascular complications. It improved those complications. So it lessened complications in those diabetic patients. And the list goes on, decreasing stress hormones, decreasing cortisol, decreasing adrenaline. And they only had to laugh for like 20 minutes. And they saw these huge improvements in their health and well-being.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So Sina, tell me one of your morning jokes. Tell me a joke.
All right. So these are my kids' favorite jokes. Okay. Why does a seagull fly over the sea?
Why does a seagull fly over the sea? Over the sea. I have no idea.
I was like, you're thinking about it too much. Because if it flew over the bay, it would be called a bagel.
Of course, of course. You may not know that I really enjoy elephant jokes.
I didn't know that.
You're familiar with elephant jokes? Yeah, I like elephant jokes. So my favorite elephant joke is, do you know why the elephant wore red sneakers?
Why?
To hide in the strawberry patch. Now, here's the kick. Have you ever seen an elephant in a strawberry patch?
No.
Well, it works pretty good then, doesn't it?
I love that. I love that because I didn't see that part B of that joke coming. That's hilarious. Okay, well, I got another joke that my kids love that's perfect for a farmer such as yourself. What has ears but can't hear?
That would be corn.
A cornfield.
A cornfield, yes. Ears but can't hear. Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Okay, let me do another one. What do you call a boomerang that won't come back?
A boomerang that won't come back? I don't know. A stick?
Yes, a stick.
I got it, a stick. That's crazy. Oh, me. A stick. Yeah, that's right.
I love that one. But yeah, so this
Yeah.
is one way that we add laughter to our day is we start out by telling these jokes. And if we run out of them, we just look online to find, kid-friendly jokes.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, there's some real humor on YouTube. If you start looking at some clean comedians on YouTube, uh, I mean, one of our favorites is Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy's hilarious. He now this guy's deceased, but Jerry Clower, Jerry Clower was a South Mississippi fertilizer salesman that one night at a sales meeting, he told a joke and everybody laughed and he loved it so much he became a full-time. I mean, he made records and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, Jerry Clower, what a funny guy. But yeah, there's a lot of good humor on YouTube now that you can pull up, and it's good. It's a belly laugh. A belly laugh has a long tail. I think that's what your research is showing. That so often, we think that this is just for the moment, and then that's it. But actually, a good belly laugh has a long tail, and that's a good thing because it actually hurts to laugh a long time. If you,
Yeah.
you sit here and laugh for 10 minutes, you can actually get your ribs can hurt
Yeah.
if you laugh too much. So yeah.
And so I'd like to close, Joel, with asking you a question. So we know how important laughter is. And in my opinion, it would be fantastic if we could all incorporate it into our daily wellness practice, just like right alongside clean water, clean food, grounding, and so forth. In today's climate, there's so much tension, there's so much negativity, there's so much stress coming from multiple sources. How do you pull yourself out of that and create humor, laughter, or joy in your day to day?
Oh, what a great question. So my answer to that is I'll go back to Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of his principles was to stay within your sphere of influence, stay within your sphere of influence. And he's got these little concentric circles, things you can control, things you can't control, things out of, beyond your control. And what he points out in that chapter is that the more time we spend focused on things that are beyond our control, the smaller our sphere of influence. Mm-hmm. And the more we spend on things that we can control and forget about the things that are beyond our control, our sphere of influence actually grows. It's counterintuitive, but when you think about it, most of the things that you and I, most of the things that we fret about are actually beyond our control.
Yeah.
You and I aren't, there was nothing that you and I could do about the pullout from Afghanistan. There's nothing that you and I can do, about a lot of things. We can't control what Fauci says when he steps to the microphone. We can't. That's beyond our control. So you know what? It's okay. It's just out there, and what we can do is we can concentrate on investing in relationships and skills and knowledge that will make our control a better world, whatever we control, a better world. And I call it building a parallel universe. We need to be about building a parallel universe. And some of that is certainly increasing your freedom, your freedom of dependency on things that are beyond your control. So, if you can put a cistern in and catch your roof runoff so you don't have to depend on city water, for example, you can put in a solarium so you can extend the growing season and not and reduce your dependency on the grocery store for a couple of extra months a year by growing some food for yourself. There are numerous things that we can do, in our lives, including, knowing our farmer, knowing our food sources, investing in our health, not having to be dependent on pharmaceutical companies or the doctor or whatever. We're the most important what self-reliance thing you can do is maintain your health, right? And so and so I can control whether I drink a Coke or not. I can control whether I eat junk food or not. And so this creates joy and fun in the journey. Just don't worry about all that stuff you can't control. I can't control it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Instead, I'm going to be positive and invest in building a positive parallel universe in my life, my family's life, my business life, and and surround ourselves with people of like precious values, that share that are fun to be around. We're just entering our stewardship pick time for our new stewards for next year, and the question we always ask is, do I want to spend my summer with this person? It really comes down to, is this a person fun to spend time with? If I meet you for 2 minutes, do I walk away and say, hey, I'd like to spend a few more minutes with that person? And the people that you want to do that to, structure your life so you can.
I love that. We're doing the same thing, and that's one thing I talk about with people too, when they're healing from or trying to reverse diseases, for instance, is figure out which relationships are toxic to you and which relationships are nurturing to you. And that's pretty much what you're saying, and surround yourself by those nurturing people where you bring each other up, So, and so I'll add into this that on a practical, like day-to-day basis, I try to add joy in not only by telling those jokes, starting out the day with the jokes, but I actually, it's so easy to get wrapped up in the day to day and, working and all these responsibilities that we put on ourselves. So sometimes when my schedule gets overwhelming, what I actually do is I put in my schedule fun time. And so I will set a timer and I make myself stop, and I'll go out and I'll play tag with my kids, or we'll play a board game or a card game, or, watch, like you said, a funny video or a comedian. So I literally, and because I'm so passionate too about what I do, and there's seems to be so much work, I literally will schedule it in to make myself stop. And so I can create a better balance for myself.
Yeah, I call those commas in life. We live under this incorrect supposition that we work, and in order to deserve a 2-week vacation once a year, or a 3-week vacation once a year, to go away somewhere, and that's our downtime. But actually, it's much better. Rather than taking that, a 3-week away time, it's much better to take a couple of hours every couple of days and put what I call a comma in your life. It might be a backyard fire pit, and you're cooking hot dogs. It might be a game of volleyball. We have a volleyball net here at the farm, and I mean, it's worn to it's a dirt. The grass is completely gone, and we play volleyball a lot, and even after making hay all day, just to have that fun period. And so I call those commas in life. It's much better to have your life sentence full of strategic commas than just once in a long while a great big blank space.
Yeah. Because then by that point, it's almost like you need that vacation as an escape from your life.
Right.
And I said that to my husband several years ago. I said, I don't want to have to escape from my life. Right. I want to live a life that I want to live, filled with joy and happiness and freedom. And, so exactly what you're saying. And it could be as simple as, if you don't have the time or the energy at the end of the day to play a game of volleyball, it could be something as simple as picking up the phone and calling someone in your tribe and just chatting for 5 minutes, just to connect with somebody. So even it could be something you do in 5 minutes. So I just had this idea as you were talking. So anybody who's listening or watching the video, what would be great is in the comment section, if you have a joke, right, to share, type in whatever joke that you know of, that you can share with the rest of us so we can all laugh together. I think, when at the Polyface Summit that we hosted together this last summer, how I mentioned laughter and I was telling jokes during my talk. People from the summit afterwards, they were sending me emails with jokes in them. And I thought, this is fantastic, right? We've created this tribe where we're bringing each other up, right? So
that's right.
Please, everybody, send us your jokes. And Joel, I think it would be kind of cool if, at least in some of the podcasts coming up, what do you think about we start out podcasts with telling a joke? Right?
It's not a bad idea. So as we close this one, Sina, I've got one of my favorite Jerry Clower jokes. Okay. So Jerry Clower, he's from South Mississippi, and he grew up with a boy named Marcel Ledbetter. It was a family of 10 boys in his family, and Marcel, he was down one day, and this tourister guy came in, and they were growing watermelons that year to sell watermelons, and this guy came in and he looked at Marcel. Marcel was, tall and thin. And he said, boy, if you can eat that whole watermelon, I'll give you $5. Well, $5 was a lot of money, but Marcel, he wanted it, but he wasn't sure. So he said, just give me a minute, sir. And he went up to the house, and about 10 minutes later, he came back from the house. And he said, yes, sir, I'll take you up on that offer. I'll do that. And the guy said, well, you were gone for 10 minutes. What did you do, 10 minutes while you were gone? Marcel said, well, that's a pretty big watermelon, and I didn't know if I could eat it. So I went up to the house. I knew I had one that same size up at the house. So I went up and I ate that one, and I knew if I could eat that one, I could eat this one right here. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Beyond Labels podcast. And I hope you're having a great day. Tell a joke to your loved ones, laugh heartily today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.